people have to realize once you hit it, it's a continuous journey of that next hit. And your receipts were wonderful. So let's just start from the beginning, okay? You were
Absolutely.
born in the Dominican Republic, but you were raised by your grandmother. Your parents immigrated to the United States when you were just 6 months old. I mean, do you have memories of that? Tell us about your childhood growing up.
Well, my childhood, the way that I see it in comparison to so many other immigrant stories, I think it's very much like a lot of immigrant stories. Your parents sort of immigrate to America to find
Mm-hmm.
a better future, and it was no different for me. My parents moved when I was 6 months old, like you said, and my
Mm.
grandmother, who's like a saint, and she actually passed away about 2 Christmases ago,
Mm.
raised not only myself but my sister, my older sister, a bunch of other of my cousins. And so we just grew up in a very, my memories of it, very humble backgrounds. I was
Mm.
born in Santo Domingo, which is the capital of Dominican Republic, but my grandmother was living in Cotuí, which is this tiny little town in the middle of Dominican Republic. So we grew up very humble, like no running water, no electricity. Like I didn't even have television until I was like 5. So for me, my imagination was really what kept me, entertained and alive. And it's so interesting because when you don't grow up with anything, you don't
Yeah.
really miss it. So you
Yes.
don't know that you don't have it. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Word. Yes, absolutely. Because to me, it sounds like you guys were rich in family and love. Like your grandmother was the one that was like, bring them babies to me. No, no, no. We're going to make sure these babies is all right.
Oh, absolutely. And it was just, that's the way. And we raised each other as well. My
Mm.
grandmother had 10 kids, 10 girls, 2 boys. So I come from a family full of women, which is why I'm such a, women empowerment. And, I love
Yes.
being on your show because of that. And I see you as one of these women that has always been inspiring to me
Thank you.
since I got into the business, and I
Yes.
respect your hustle. And it is a hustle, like you said,
Yes.
within this industry, because people kind of see you whenever they get to meet you in through the eyes of the media, is when they realize, like, oh my God, this person is brand new. Look at them coming in. And they don't
Mm.
realize that it's been such a journey and that you have so many moments that feel like your breakthrough moments. And then you're like, oh, wait, what happened? I thought that was going to be my moment.
Yes,
Where,
exactly. Psych. Okay, got canceled.
Exactly.
It was like, I thought it
Exactly.
was going to be huge. Well, got to go back to the drawing board, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's really what really has helped me throughout my journey. Is because I have been an immigrant and I come from a different country, and not having anything so early on, really, but love
Yes.
and that an imagination. I think that is really what got me through it all. I never
Wow.
felt like I wasn't. I always felt like an entertainer.
Mm.
um and then that's thinking back of like, okay, when I would make up songs, I would make little shows during Christmas with all of my cousins, and I would like choreograph this whole show for like when everybody got together. And those were my early, if I think of my life, they always ask me like, did you always know that you wanted to act? And when you come from a country like Dominican Republic, where when
Yes.
you don't really have anything, you don't think that you're going to amount to anything either. You think that that's your life
Mm.
forever. Like you don't really, it doesn't really compute that you can become anything you want. That's
Right.
something that's a big thing in America. Like in America, you can be here and come from anywhere of any economic status, and you always have this idea that if you work really hard, that you can do anything in life. That's not necessarily the reality in my country. At least it wasn't for me.
Mm.
I'm the first one in my family that broke out into the entertainment industry. So I never thought that I was going to be an actress early
Wow.
on, even though I think back and I've always been an entertainer. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until I moved to the States that I got introduced to the entertainment world through the modeling, world.
Yes. With
And
your
we can
pretty
get into
self.
that.
Yes,
Oh,
we
you're so
definitely are. But
sweet.
you made now. Let's talk about your family, because you made
Yeah.
a powerful documentary about your family's journey to America called "An American Alien." You talk about your mother, your father, your sister. All of you guys migrating. What did you learn more about your family while making this documentary?
when you're in a place where you're living your life, you miss things, you know. And I wanted to make the documentary because I did want to I had these questions even for my parents that I for some reason never really got comfortable really sitting down and asking them, like, what was that experience for them. For me, I felt, not being young and not living with my parents, it just felt more of an abandonment. Like, it didn't realize like this was something that, and that's not to say like, you know, it didn't shape me to be a more driven kind of, you know, person, because it did, you know. So I never look at myself sort of like from a victimized perspective. So I wanted to make the documentary because I wanted to not only have healing for myself, but also have healing for them. And if that can somehow translate into a story that people could have related to, that's what I wanted to do. And to really come from a place of like, this is what being an immigrant in America is like for me. This is what it was like for my parents. And I did feel like I got a beautiful answer from my mom when she, you know, really opened up and said, you know, my American dream is you guys, and the fact that you guys have become successful. That was a really interesting and beautiful moment for myself. And I think my sisters and my cousins, we all needed to have some kind of I don't know if it's closure, but like a moment, you know, like just something like just putting it out in the open. Like, this is like, what did it feel like for you? Because this is what it felt like for us. And for us to have that empathy and compassion and understanding for one another is very important, because, you know, it all starts with family, right?
Absolutely.
That's your nucleus. That's like, if you can figure out a way to find that love and understand each other there, then it's easier for you to relate to the rest of the world, you know? And I really wanted that.
And can I say with us brown people that we're so prideful that there's things that we don't like to talk about. Do you know what I mean? And we're like, no, everything's okay. We're good, you know? And it's like you said, it gave you answers. Like, I'm sure now that you're a mother, it's easier for you to talk to your children about journeys and things that we brown people go through. But like my family, my mom and them, like, we didn't like to admit things were wrong, or that it was like, no, that's just what we did. And sacrifices, that's what we did. But it's like, sometimes you just want to hear the answers to, I did this because, and for you to know and not make up your own story. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think lack of communication can lead to miscommunication completely, because when you leave it, everything's open to interpretation and an assumption. And I did have a lot of assumptions as to like what my parents had gone through, even coming to America, and what that journey was like for them. Obviously, because I only knew what it was like for me. So I think the documentary really, you know, put a lot of those moving pieces together, you know, in a cohesive way for me to really understand it all. And it really was it lifted a big thing off my shoulders and of my family's shoulder. And, you know, it was really well received. I did it for, I believe it was Immigrant Heritage Month. It was the first video that was actually done for Immigrant Heritage Month. And I was very grateful that I got the opportunity to not only, you know, talk about my family, but to be a part of directing it as well. So that I could,
director. Yes.
Yeah, so the journey for us has been one. It's been a beautiful one, and I feel like the more you share that with the masses, you know, I do feel like as actors and people that have a voice, and thank you for having me on my show, because of being on your show, I get to sort of like pass my message forward. You know, we're messengers of this bigger thing, and I get to be a part of that. So thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart. And then you said that your parents, that when you asked them the American dream, that your success was the American dream. What does now the American dream mean to you?
The American dream to me, you know, I love America. I just start saying I love America, and I don't want to go down the road of getting too emotional. But the American dream,
I cry too, girl. I do. It's all right.
It's just really powerful, because the American dream to me means freedom, and I am aware that freedom means something different to everybody.
Yes.
So for me in particular, it really meant to have the freedom to be exactly who I am, and the freedom to to express myself how I feel like expressing myself, so that I can do the things that I wanted to do my way,
Yes.
not caring about being accepted by anyone else. And America really, in a beautiful way, does that. Like, it gives you the courage to really go for the things that you want. And the way I see it, because I can only speak from my personal experience, just the acceptance of others and understanding that their freedom means something else to them is something that I really stand by. So the American dream to me was just having the freedom to be able to do that and to achieve anything that I wanted, no matter where I came from, or the fact that I didn't speak English didn't matter. The fact that I didn't come from money didn't matter. The fact that I am someone of color didn't matter. The fact that I am, kind of wacky and crazy and unique